Welcome to the Box Score Sports Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Box Score Sports YouTube channel. I'm your host, Ryan, and on today's episode, we are just going to talk about the Buffalo Bills and the New York Jets. The game just ended. It went into overtime. And I wanted to talk about this game because a lot happened. We'll obviously have a couple podcasts coming this week, recap podcast of the week and a prediction for next week. But it was an exciting game. So I wanted to hit on some things that I learned. So as a Dolphin fan, I watch the AFC East pretty closely because I want to, see how the division's going to play out for the rest of the year. But I also Monday Night Football, right? We're all football fans, so I watched this game pretty closely. And let's just hit on three things. Well, before we get to the three things, let's just attack the elephant in the room first, which is Aaron Rodgers' season might be over. Reports are it could be an Achilles. Kind of looked that way just because it didn't seem like something that was super serious right away. And then you could tell he didn't feel comfortable walking on it. So it's a bummer. And if you're a Jets fan, sorry, because that stinks. Even though you pulled this, it's sort of like you won the battle, but maybe lost the war type thing. We'll see how the rest of the season plays out. Maybe it's not an Achilles tear or ruptured Achilles, but we'll see what happens. Zach Wilson, could he have grown this offseason? He made a couple of okay throws. He made some really bad throws. He was under a lot of pressure too, to be fair to him. That offensive line is not good. In fact, that's the reason why Rodgers got hurt. Early on, in the first drive, Rodgers, I think he got hit twice, right? So, and the second time was the injury. So, I mean, the offensive line wasn't good all game. I didn't think the offensive coordinator did a lot to help Zach Wilson as far as adding more protection, but that's okay. They found a way to win. But Aaron Rodgers' season, that's the biggest news because it kind of knocks the Jets off as a real legitimate contender. We'll see if they do something different at quarterback. We'll see if they'll go after a different veteran quarterback that might be available that's in a backup room somewhere that might be able to do enough to help this team win games, because all they really need is an average quarterback. Or maybe they'll trust that Zach Wilson can be that guy. But sorry, Jets fans. Sorry, Aaron Rodgers. It really stinks that that's the way his season might have ended. It's unfortunate. Now, let's get into three things that we learned about these two teams, or what I took away. I didn't really learn these things, but what I took away from the game that were pretty interesting, and that is Breece Hall. Breece Hall looks good, right? He looks good. I was a little worried about him coming off the injury he had last year, but he ran strong, unafraid, and the fact that him and Dalvin Cook could kind of spell each other to keep Hall fresh, I think that worked for Hall in this game, and I think that's going to work for the Jets the rest of the year. I think the Jets with Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook, that's who they're going to have to ride all season now. With Rodgers gone, the run game has to be the focal point now. And it's going to be very, very similar to what it was last year. The defense has to play at a very high level, which they're capable of, but that run game has to meet it, and those running backs have to stay healthy. So we'll see if that continues, but he looks amazing off his injuries, and I think we should give him props. I'll put this one along with that. I want to just mention Garrett Wilson is still as good as ever. I'm really disappointed that Rodgers went down, partly because I was excited to see what Garrett Wilson could do with an actual quarterback throwing him the ball. Because he gets open, he makes ridiculous catches like he did tonight. That one-handed catch was amazing. So, again, it's just a real big bummer that Rodgers got injured, because it affects kind of the whole dynamic of the team. But we'll see what Zach Wilson will do. So now the second thing I just want to point out that I sort of took away from this game is that, and this is on the Buffalo Bills side of the ball, Josh Allen played very impatient, reckless, and rusty. That's how I would describe his play today. Now, to be fair to Josh Allen, there's a couple things. It's only week 1, so we have to settle down. We'll overreact to this one game, and they could end up being 13-4. Like, that could happen. The other thing we have to remember is the Jets always plays Buffalo very, very tough. They are a tough defense on Buffalo, or for the Bills, and they make Josh Allen turn the ball over. That's what they do. Now, with that being said, his impatient, just kind of like forcing the ball down the field, being a little bit reckless when running, like trying to run defenders over. He took a lot of big hits in this game. And he fumbled the ball once because of it. And I just think, like I was telling when we did our preview podcast of the AFC East with my friend Avery, who is a Buffalo Bills fan, that's one thing I said. I don't want to see him taking hits because eventually it will catch up to him. And as a Bills fan, you don't want that. You don't want that to catch up to him. You want him to try to stay healthy as much as possible. And that's why I was really impressed with the way James Cook ran the ball, almost 4 yards a carry today, but they didn't seem to utilize that enough. I don't understand how you are leading an NFL game and you have your quarterback drop back at least 41 times. He passed the ball 41 times, and he had 6 carries. So that could be 47 times that he dropped back. I don't understand why they didn't do a better job of establishing the run. They only ran Damian Harris 1 time. He gained 3 yards, which is, you want to try to stay ahead of the chains. But I just felt like they could have ran the ball more to protect Josh Allen from himself, but also the game kind of called for it. So I don't understand why they put Josh Allen in these situations when it was kind of unnecessary to do so. But with that being said, he cannot turn the ball over. And I wonder if, we're starting to see the Brian Daboll effects. Now, I know the Giants didn't perform very good last night against the Cowboys. You could throw that in my face and you'd be right. But we saw that Brian Daboll got the best out of Daniel Jones last year. Maybe he was the reason why Josh Allen was good, like that's why he was being compared to Patrick Mahomes, but I could be wrong about that as well. Finally, let's go back to the Jets because they won the game. I want to kind of focus on them. Their defense is just going to be so good this year. I don't know what else to say besides that. That's a takeaway that I took. It was a little shaky at first. You thought, oh no, a 13-point half. Maybe the Jets, they were probably in a state of shock. But in the second half, they buckled down. They were all over the ball. They were all over Josh Allen. Yes, they allowed the Bills to sort of in that final drive to kick the field goal that ended up doinking off the upright. And going in, but that defense with Sauce and the Williams, they're just going to be so good this year. And as a Dolphin fan, I'm not excited to play them. When we talk about Tyreek Hill and Tua, and you're like, oh, who's going to slow these guys down? I don't want to see the Jets. I'm being honest. That is the type of team that might be able to slow the Dolphins down. And I don't want to see it. Now, with that being said, if you listen to my stuff, I talked about this confliction that I had because I was kind of rooting for Aaron Rodgers to get to the Super Bowl just in spite of the Packers letting him go, trading him away. I just didn't think they were very accommodating towards him. But now that it's not Aaron Rodgers, the Jets, they don't have to win anymore. I don't need them to win. I need them to lose. So although I'm sorry for you Jet fans, now I'm back to rooting against the Jets. They're our rivals in my mind. So that will be fun to get back into that place again. So that's all I have for this game. It was super fun. That last kickoff return for a touchdown, another element to the Jets team that they have someone returning punts that can take it to the house. Poor tackle attempt by the punter. I don't know if you guys saw that, but he almost did a back juke when the ball carry came at him. It's like, dude, just tackle him. That's your, you got to tackle him. But Zach Wilson, I thought he did well. I'm wondering if the Jets will do some things different to help protect him so that he doesn't have to feel rushed, and also not put him in situations where the defense knows he has to pass the football, because it's easier for a defense to get after a quarterback. You can't just run, pass. If you do that, you're going to put him up and set him up for failure. So we'll see what the Jets do moving forward. Bills, I think they'll be fine. Week 1 is always crazy, but they're not going to play the Jets defense every week. So we'll see what happens. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks so much for watching this clip of the Box Score Sports podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter or X. And we'll talk to you guys real soon. See ya.